Let's talk about, on the way out of the break, I said we would talk about why you called out other restaurateurs for menu items that seem questionable to you and what ticked you off to them being questionable. How did you go about approaching it, and what sort of response did you get as a result?
Sure, those are all great questions, Carl. So, the first chef I really called out, the first well-known chef I called out was Tom Colicchio back in 2009 for mislabeling grass-fed beef on his menu. And I had friends at the restaurant that were eating at this Foxwood casino restaurant in Connecticut. They called me and said, Marcus, Tom Colicchio has grass-fed steak on his menu here. You'd be proud of him. And I said, oh, cool, but I don't think he's serving grass-fed beef. I've been to that restaurant before, and I don't think he is. Like, oh no, it says it. We asked. They said yes. So after we hung up the phone, the following week I did some investigating. And I did indeed find out through careful investigating, searching the brands, again, going on the internet, finding the brands, cross-referencing them, calling the distributors, calling the farms, calling the suppliers, that indeed it was not grass-fed beef. The suppliers were upset, not the suppliers, but the producers, the co-ops were upset, the brands of beef were upset that he was mislabeling it. And so after that, I saw it again and again and again. But the neat thing was, I called Tom Colicchio's restaurant and I said, hey, I think you guys got a typo on your menu, and they argued with me. I spoke to the manager, I spoke to the chef, I spoke to the butcher, the kitchen manager, and they all argued with me and said, no, Marcus, you're wrong. We're right. It's grass-fed. And the butcher said to me, he had the nerve to say to me, I grew up on a farm, and those animals, if they've eaten grass, they're called grass-fed. And I said, no, that's not the way our description works, as I said earlier in the show. And they argued with me. I said, you know what? Out of frustration, I resorted to the internet. I resorted to YouTube, and I put up a video explaining my story with their food fraud. Now, Tom Colicchio was a famous chef. And I said, how can a celebrity chef not be held accountable for misleading customers? So I put in a video up, said, Tom Colicchio needs to apologize to his guests for misleading them. Apologize. And of course, Tom Colicchio got a hold of the video on YouTube, because anybody can see it, and started tweeting me, direct messaging me on Twitter, and basically saying, you know what, you have some nerve doing this to me. And I said, well, you have some nerve doing this to your guests. And they blamed on Twitter. They told me they thanked me on Twitter, Carl, for catching their typos.
Oh wow!
And I said, I caught your typos 6 months ago. You didn't want to listen to me. So then that upped the game, and Tom Colicchio responded to me and said, I'm tired of messing around. I'm tired of playing with you. So they actually then blamed Foxwoods Casino for mistyping their menus. They were pointing the finger at everybody. But like I said, the neat thing was, he wasn't the only one. Steven Starr at one of his restaurants in Philadelphia. Wolfgang Puck at his restaurant in Vegas, at Spago. His partner came and apologized to the table for catching their typo. So all these places all of a sudden have typos on their menu. I'm sorry, you're a celebrity chef, you're a well-known chef, you're a successful restaurateur. You need to have your menu properly labeled. You can't blame typos. It's not proper. You can't blame, you have to know what's going on. And whether you're a celebrity chef or not a celebrity chef, there's a restaurant down the street, you need to make sure you're not misrepresenting what you're serving. So besides catching many famous people on this, I've caught, like I said, the restaurants down the street from me basically just saying whatever. And I said, you can't do that. That's unfair. I'm a chef. I'm held to standards. You should be held to standards too. It's part of the ethics of this business. It's like going to a doctor and getting the wrong drug after they say we're giving you this drug and giving you something else. It's like going anywhere to a mechanic and saying, we put this oil in your car, and they really didn't put that oil in your car. We charging you for 5 quarts, but we only did 4 quarts. It's just a way for these people to make an extra $1, and I didn't want to stand for it, especially after Tom Colicchio made every excuse, and after they gave me a problem when I called them on the phone, I said, you know what? Celebrity or no celebrity, you need to be on your game when it comes to representing proper items on your menu, food fraud. So I started the food fraud channel, foodfraudtv.com or truthinmenu.com, where when we do videos like this, I upload them to there, and I just keep that site current on all kinds of things related to misrepresentation of menu items.